Hey everybody, how you doing? This is What Up Clay. This channel talk about all kinds of things, how to fix it, build, maintain, as well as product reviews when anything comes across my desk. And lately we're doing a lot of motors. I'm getting a lot of brushless motors in to do tests on. Today is going to be on brushless motors, but it's going to be a controversial conversation on brushless motors, how to choose the right motor. So we say we get into this, and I'll go over each of the motors and explain the benefits. All right. I call this controversial because there's thousands of different racers out there, so there's going to be a lot of people very particular on how they judge and pick out the right motor. So all the stuff that I'm going right now is just with my personal experience, my personal opinion, the research I've done, and stuff like that. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 2 years, testing motors. I started testing motors because of that exact question. What's the best motor out there? You'll hear, well, this motor's best because all of our top guys at our track rides it. But at every single track, there's different motors on the podium. So if one motor was better than the other ones, then why isn't that motor the top used motor at every single track? The reason why, because every single track will be suited for a different type of a motor. Some tracks will be best with a high RPM motor. Some tracks will be best with a high torque motor. Some you'll need a balance of RPMs and torque, and so on. So this is my opinion on this, the research I've done. So let me explain the difference between the torque and RPM. A lot of people have one of these, a tuner. What they do is they use a tuner, they pick the motor with the highest kV, the highest RPM, they go, okay, that's the best motor. That's not necessarily true, because that motor, this right here is only giving you how the RPMs of that motor when it's free spinning. It's not under a load. What's going to happen when you put it under a load? You have a 350 horsepower 4-cylinder. You have a 300 horsepower V8. Which one's going to be the best motor for racing? A lot of you are saying, well, the 350 horsepower 4-cylinder. Well, the 4-cylinder only has 250 pounds-feet of torque. The V8 has 400 pounds-feet of torque. So now which one's the best one? Now you're saying, well, the V8's going to be the better one because it has more torque. Yes, it's going to be the best one to get you off the line, get you out of the corners and stuff like that. But when you're on the straightaways and your car's up to speed, your car's not pushing as much weight once it gets up to speed. So which one's going to be the fastest? The 4-cylinder with 350 horsepower, because it's going to be able to push that car that faster down the straightaways at high speed. So that being said, you have to find a perfect balance, or you have to find the right motor for the right track. So here's how it works. You have a high RPM motor, and you have a high torque motor. Most people out there they gear their motor accordingly to the temperature the motor reaches while racing. So you run your motor for about 5 minutes with the gear of choice. Let's say you do a 30 tooth. You put a 30 tooth on there. You get your motor up to 150 degrees. You want your motor to be running around 160. Some people run it as much as 180, 190. That's crazy. But let's say you want it to be 160. So then you put another tooth on it, and bam, you're at 160. So now you're at 31. Well, this one here, if you put a 31 tooth on a high torque motor, the temperature on this one here is going to be in the neighborhood of about 130 degrees. So this is a high torque motor with low RPM. But because it's 130 and you're going to gear this thing to 160 degrees, then you can now put a few more teeth on this. So now you're going to be running a 33 tooth on this and a 31 on this, running the same temperature. Well, now this one right here is going to be faster than this one at the final drive. Now you ask, well, this right here would be the ultimate motor to have on a track. Depends on the track. If you're a person that's like on off on the throttle, it's a technical track, a lot of turns, a lot of twists, high traction, you're all-wheel drive, you're going over jumps, all this other stuff, yeah, this right here would be great. This right here would probably be the best one. But if you're going down the straightaways and you're feathering the throttle, you're not jabbing it on and off, or you're not constantly on and off, you're just kind of feathering, but you're mostly on the throttle, this one right here would be better. The reason why, there is a point where the EMF of a motor is too powerful, and when the EMF of the motor is too powerful, is on the higher RPM, full throttle, it starts to waste energy, so it starts to get hotter faster than this one. So now this one right here on a short track, you run a 33 tooth. Now this one right here is getting too hot, so now you have to drop it down to like a 30, a 32, or even a 31 to reach the same temp as this. Now this one right here is going to be faster on the straightaways. Hope that makes sense. Overall, you have to think about what track you're on. Now you have motors like this that has a balance of RPM and torque, as well as these, as this one here. This is a certified motor. This one here, these are both high torque motors. This right here has a high RPM, so it's actually going to be better than these, but there are other motors out there that have high RPMs and good torque. These right here are great, but again, if it's a big wide open track and stuff like that, and you're doing like a big track using a 112 scale, I'd probably choose another motor with a higher RPM than these, even though it may have less torque. You're pushing a small car at full throttle, almost constantly around this track. The difference between a certified motor, by the way, and a non-certified motor is companies will take a motor, they'll take a basic motor, they'll have a box of parts, and they'll test each of those parts individually, and they'll take the best of each ones and put a motor together. So that's why these ones here, like this right here, is $130. This here is $150. That's why these right here, the certified ones, end up costing more. So they're due to people at races modifying motors and making them illegal to cheat, basically. Manufacturers come up with a motor right here. It's a fixed timing motor. You cannot adjust the timing on these, and to modify them is very, very hard. And tuning and stuff like that, you basically don't do it. Some tracks will require these to be run. This right here, if you're a basher, if you're a person who just wants to have fun in the backyard and play around, you're not there planning racing, you go out there and find the older design race motors. They're perfectly fine for that. Now they're not going to get you up to, 70, 80 miles an hour down the straights or anything like that in the backyard, but they'll still get you 25, 30 miles an hour in your buggies or your car. Now a lot of times people want to get, have their cars going 80 miles an hour, and they think it's cool because, straight, boom, boom, like this. Now, that gets boring after a couple minutes. It's going straight back and forth. At least for me. 20, 25 miles an hour for me is a good speed. You can go to tracks, you go out the fields, whatever, and you can actually have fun out there without worrying about smashing your car. You can actually control it and so on. But anyways, these are good motors. The older style electric motors that they use for racing. So when choosing a motor, the best thing to do is find out what type of track you're going to be on. And if you race on multiple style tracks, it's good to get a track or get a motor that has different rotor options. You have a stronger rotor, weaker rotors, and so on. Therefore, you can have a collection of different rotors to match each race that you'll be at. You know, you have like this here. Just have different rotors, and when you get to a different track, it requires that rotor. Boom, there you have it. The overall best way, of course, to choose a motor is to try it on a track. Unfortunately, you can't buy the motor, try it on a track, and go, oh, you know, I don't like it, and then return it. So that's why I do my videos, because of this whole dilemma on what motor's better. Nobody can give me a straight answer. They just say, well, it's what our top guys race. Well, like I said, every track, all the top guys, every track drive different motors. So even if they're the same type of motor, I want to know why. So anyway, that's why I do my videos. But I hope I was able to explain this okay. If you guys have any questions, put in the comment section. If I didn't clarify on something enough, let me know. I'll try to do that as well. But anyhow, I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned something. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to help support the channel. If you didn't like the video, tell me why. Put it down there in the comment section. I won't bash on you. I'm not sensitive. But if you didn't like the videos, hit the like, subscribe, so you can watch the rest of my videos and make fun of me. Alright, everybody, you take care.